We are deep in the middle of winter now. The holidays are done, the weather is gross, and the sun goes down every day right after brunch. It is easy to feel exhausted and depressed this time of year, and that includes my writers. You know, they write hundreds of jokes every day just to get the 10 or 12 we use in the monologue, and honestly, a lot of those other jokes just aren't good. Sometimes I think they throw in a few stinkers on purpose just to fill the page and meet the assignment. But just because it's winter, that doesn't mean we can tolerate laziness, which means it's time for another surprise inspection. Here's how this works. I'm gonna read some real jokes, really submitted by my writers, that are unusable for the show. Some are dumb, some are offensive, some are just insane. Most importantly, the writers don't know we're doing this, and because a lot of them don't watch the show, they'll never know. So let's get started. Today was National Peanut Butter Day. Yeah, I'm not falling for that again, said your dog. Mike Scollins wrote that joke. That's him. You know how we know? He put his name on it. He wanted us to know, like a serial killer who left a note. Scotland celebrated Burns Supper yesterday, which honors the life of poet Robert Burns. Meanwhile, single dads celebrate Burns Supper whenever it's their weekend with the kids. Brian wrote that joke. He's got a kid, and, you know. I think he's doing all right feeding her. I don't know. A 79-year-old man in Australia recently set the Guinness World Record for oldest competitive soccer player. Said the announcer, "Old!" Where's Ian, you guys? A loose wallaby was recently seen hopping through a field of snow in England, and a wallaby, of course, is how the British say little boy. Even now, I have no idea what that means. Literally just a collection of words that seem to have no relation to one another. Karen Chi wrote that joke. You might guess from your picture, and you'd be right. This is a person with nothing but joy in her heart, and yet that joke made me so mad at her. And that's probably the look she had on her face the whole time she wrote it. She didn't know. Wallaby. Wallaby is how the British say little boy. I'll say it in a British accent. Let's see if it sounds like wallaby. Wallaby. Oh, it does. New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu said in an interview that he's considering running for president, he thinks the country needs Sununu voice. So that's a play on a new voice. If his name was Governor Anunu, it's still bad, but you understand it. Sununu, you don't. That was written by Matt Goldich. And he's here and probably brokenhearted that he didn't get any applause. All right, guys, he wrote the next one, too, and I want to encourage you. If you just want to start booing as loud as you can. Because I think that's the only way we can affect their behavior. They gotta be publicly shamed. He's here now. This is your chance to put a stop to this. Because I know you're not gonna be here tomorrow, but I am. And he is. And I can't stop him. Pepsi has announced it will no longer offer Sierra Mist soda. Oh no, then how will I make my famous Sierra Mistu? Imagine how broken your brain has to be. Yeah. You see Sierra Mist on a piece of paper, and you think to yourself, oh, I know what my boss who tells joke in front of human beings will like. Also, somebody in graphics had to make a Sierra Mist suit. Like, they had real work to do. Man, they had to go to a real school, not like the writers on this show. We just found milling around. Prince Harry sat down for an interview last night on 60 Minutes with Anderson Cooper. Yeah, you know what? I'm not ready for this one yet, Wally. I don't know if I'm ever going to be ready. Today was former Vice President Dick Cheney's 82nd birthday, and if you want to know what he's getting, the heart intended for your grandma. Scollins. Today was National Opposite Day, and my coworkers are not gonna like how I use the urinal. Just be happy we stayed with that graphic. Oh yeah, it's Scollins again. A second library, this is a third Scollins in a row. A second library in Colorado has been forced to close due to crystal meth contamination. Why? That's how we got some of our best books. We have no proof. Seuss was on crystal. Today was World Hypnotism Day, and thank God it's almost over because I am not enjoying being a duck stuck at the bottom of a well. Quack, for the love of God, won't somebody stop? Allie wrote that one. There's Allie. Very nice lady who's obviously having a bad run of things. Netflix announced last week that it has renewed the show Wednesday for a second season, adding, but here's the thing. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know, there's at least there's some craft there. I'm setting this down so I don't put it through my eye after telling the punchline. According to new reports, a sequel to the 2004 movie The Passion of the Christ will begin shooting this spring. And needless to say, it's a crossover. Ian wrote that joke, in case you're wondering who to hit with the lightning bolt. All right. I'm going to tell it now. Are you guys sure? Are you sure? Because on a few of these, you kind of showed you don't have the intestinal fortitude for what we're doing here. So just remember when I tell this punchline, you asked for it. Is this the last one? Okay. That's good to know. Because I feel like it might be a little hard to follow. Prince Harry sat down for an interview last night on 60 Minutes with Anderson Cooper while your mom sat down in a puddle. You guys. Bays wrote it. And he died right after he wrote it. And you didn't even have a heart to laugh at it. He wrote it, and it was so funny he died. And then not one of you laughed. There's the real Bays. Let's look at the real Bays. There he is. You guys, this has been a surprise inspection.